Stop the insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Reprogram your mind and change your life intro. The insanity loop you don't even see. There is a brutal truth most people spend their entire lives avoiding. You can't change your life while doing the same things that created the life you're currently trying to escape. Yet that's exactly what millions of people do every single day. They wake up with the same habits. They repeat the same emotional reactions. They fall into the same patterns. They choose the same comfort. They replay the same story in their head. And then they wonder, why isn't my life changing? Because transformation requires interrupting insanity. And insanity is simply this: doing the same thing over and over again, while hoping this time the universe gives you a different outcome. You aren't stuck because you're weak. You aren't stuck because you're cursed. You're stuck because your subconscious believes, this is who we are. This is how we operate. This is safe. The insanity loop is not a conscious choice. It is your default programming. This audiobook is about smashing that programming, breaking the automatic loops, and rebuilding a mind that produces different actions, different emotions, and different outcomes consistently. You will learn how to stop repeating cycles you hate. You will learn how to spot the invisible patterns sabotaging you. And you will learn how to reprogram your mind so change becomes unavoidable, not impossible. This is your interruption. This is your reset. Start now. Here's your first challenge to see if you're committed to change your life. Here is a simple yet powerful step you can take for immediate mind-proof to yourself. If you're committed, show us by hitting the like button and subscribing. By taking that action, you're proving to yourself that you're committed and took the first step and opened Pandora's box to now receive more life-changing signals from the universe. This is the moment the insanity stops. We don't have a lot of subscribers, and it would mean the world to us if you could like and subscribe. Would be a sign of life force to us and give us hope to continue. Thanks, let's begin. Chapter 1. The Cycle That Runs Your Life. Most people believe their lives are shaped by big moments. They're wrong. Your life is shaped by the cycles you repeat without realizing it. A cycle is a loop. Trigger, emotion, reaction, outcome, consequence. Reset back to the beginning. These loops can last minutes or decades. You say something sets you off. You react automatically. You go into damage control mode. You promise yourself you'll do better. And then next week, you're back in the same loop. Not because you consciously chose it, but because your subconscious is addicted to familiarity. Your mind loves what it knows, even if what it knows is destroying you. You're not insane. Your programming is. This is your first awakening. If you don't break the cycle becomes your identity. Your brain rewires itself to normalize dysfunction. That's why someone who grew up around chaos often recreates chaos in adulthood. That's why someone who lived with emotional instability will unconsciously seek it later. That's why someone who repeats self-sabotage will begin to believe, this is just who I am. No, it isn't. It's just who you've been repeating. Chapter 2. The Insanity Formula. Every destructive pattern has the same formula. 1. Familiar pain. Unfamiliar change. Humans will choose the pain they know over the change they fear, because the subconscious mind interprets all change, even positive change, as danger. You're not afraid of success. You're afraid of what success demands you become. You're not afraid of discipline. You're afraid of living without excuses. You're not afraid of leaving toxic environments. You're afraid of living without the identity those environments validated. 2. Comfort masquerading as logic. Your mind becomes a master lawyer for your limitations. It defends your old patterns with perfectly rational excuses. I'm tired. I don't want to deal with this right now. I deserve a break. It's not the right time. I'll start fresh next week. Those aren't truths. Those are comfort protection systems. 3. Emotional memory driving automatic response. Your subconscious doesn't operate on thoughts. It operates on emotional memory. If your past experiences taught you confrontation, calmer danger, risk, humiliation, consistency, pressure, visibility, rejection, ambition, failure, your subconscious will fight every new behavior that challenges that emotional memory. 4. Reward, regret, repeat. Most loops end with a micro-reward. Relief, escape, numbing, temporary pleasure. A few hours later, regret. A few days later, repeat. A few years later, a life you barely recognize. This is the insanity formula. This is what we break next. Chapter 3. The moment of interruption. Change does not begin with new habits. It begins with an interruption, a moment where you stop the automatic loop and become conscious of the insanity. The moment where you see the pattern as a pattern. The moment where your brain says, "Oh shit, I've been doing this for years." That moment is powerful because 1. Awareness disrupts automation. You cannot break what you cannot see. 2. Naming the pattern weakens its control. The subconscious loses its invisibility. 3. Interruption creates the space for choice. For the first time, you're not reacting, you're deciding. Your first assignment in this audiobook is simple. Identify one insanity loop in your life. The one you're done repeating. The one that exhausts you. The one that insults your potential. Maybe it's the way you blow up when stressed, the way you procrastinate until panic hits, the way you chase emotionally unavailable people. The way you quit right before momentum builds. The way you self-medicate instead of confront. The way you cling to comfort even when it's killing you. The way you talk yourself out of opportunities. Write it down. You're not exposing weakness. You're exposing the enemy. This is the moment your insanity loop loses its power. Chapter 4. The subconscious root of repeating patterns. Every loop in your life has a root command stored deep in your subconscious. Your conscious mind says, "I want to change." Your subconscious mind says, "No, we know how to survive with this." The subconscious cares about safety, predictability, familiarity, not happiness, not growth, not success. This is why people stay in situations they hate, because the subconscious fears the unknown more than misery. Your subconscious sees your life as a computer system. Better the broken software we know than the unfamiliar software we don't. But here's the breakthrough. You can rewrite the commands. You are not stuck with your default programming. You are not chained to your patterns. You are not condemned to repeat. Once you understand the subconscious root, you can pull it out and install something new. The next chapters show you exactly how. Chapter 5. Breaking the loop. The reset. Triad. To stop repeating insanity, you need a 3-part reset. 1. Pattern recognition. You identify the loop as it's happening. You see the cue. You catch the trigger. You anticipate the response. Recognition is liberation. 2. Emotional rewiring. You learn to feel the discomfort without obeying it. This is where old patterns die. Not when you feel strong, not when you feel motivated, but when you feel the old emotion and choose a new action anyway. 3. Behavioral replacement. You can't stop a habit. You can only replace it. If your old loop is stress, avoid, panic, regret, your new loop becomes stress, pause, address, progress. If your old loop is fear, freeze, do nothing, lose opportunity, your new loop becomes fear, breathe, small action, momentum. Behavior writes the new code. Not affirmations, not hopes, not trying harder. Behavior. Every time you replace the old action with the new one, you carve a new pathway in your brain. Repeat it enough, and the new loop becomes your new identity. Chapter 6. The painful truth about why change fails. Most people don't fail because change is hard. They fail because change is inconsistent. The insanity loop wins when you change for a day, you change for a week, you change until it gets uncomfortable, you change until you get bored, you change until life gets stressful. Real transformation demands the one thing your past never required of you: consistency that outlasts your excuses. You're not competing with the world. You're competing with your old self, your comfort, your habitual reactions, your familiar thinking, your emotional defaults. Your old self is strong. It has years of repetition backing it, but your new self is inevitable because now you understand the cycle. People don't stay stuck for lack of potential. They stay stuck because they don't outlast their old patterns long enough for the new ones to take over. This is the chapter where that ends. Chapter 7. The reprogramming moment. The shift from automatic to intentional. There is a single moment where the entire trajectory of your life changes. The moment you stop living on autopilot. Autopilot is the enemy. It is the operator behind every repeating pattern. It is the silent dictator behind every self-sabotaging loop. Autopilot drives you into familiar behavior because familiarity feels like safety. You cannot become a new version of yourself while following the same unconscious script. So what does intentional living look like? It's not perfection. It's not motivation. It's not hype. Intentional living means you catch your triggers. You choose before you react. You interrupt yourself mid-pattern. You behave according to your future, not your past. Most people live according to memory, not vision. Insanity is memory-based behavior. Transformation is vision-based behavior. When you shift from, "I feel this, so I always react like this," to, "I feel this, but I choose differently this time," that's when the old program dies. This is the moment you begin rewriting your entire life. Chapter 8. Emotional resistance. The door you must walk through every time you try to break a loop. Your subconscious sends you one final test: emotional resistance. It feels like discomfort, fear, tension, anxiety, heaviness, pressure, irritation, restlessness. This is where people quit. This is why they repeat. This is why change dies. But here's what you must understand. Emotional resistance is not a sign to stop. It is the signal that the old pattern is losing control. Think of it like this. Your subconscious believes it is protecting you. When you break a familiar cycle, it panics. The discomfort you feel is not danger. It's your old identity being stripped away. If you give in to that feeling, the insanity loop resets. If you push through that feeling, the insanity loop dissolves. Every time you endure emotional resistance without returning to your old coping behavior, you teach your subconscious, this new pattern is safe. This is how your identity changes. Emotion, tolerated action, replaced loop, broken. You don't escape emotional resistance. You master it. Chapter 9. The destruction of the old self. To stop repeating insanity, you must destroy the version of you who keeps choosing it. Not gently, not gradually, not politely, ruthlessly. The old self is not you. It's a collection of outdated beliefs, childhood conditioning, past failures, absorbed fears, inherited insecurities, survival instincts, emotional triggers, old identity loops. The old self was built out of who hurt you, who doubted you, who dismissed you, who abandoned you, who shaped your early years. It was created without your permission. But the new self, that one you build with intention. Here is the truth. You cannot drag your old identity into your new life. Something must die for something greater to be born. The moment you look at your old behaviors and say, "I refuse to live like this anymore," you trigger a psychological death, a shedding, a severing. This is uncomfortable. It feels like losing a part of yourself. But what you're losing is the part of you that was never meant to survive the life you're stepping into. You are not destroying yourself. You are destroying your limitations. Chapter 10. The Behavioral Reset. The Power of Micro-Reversals. Most people try to change their entire life in 1 week. That's why they fail. Transformation is not built on massive actions. It's built on micro-reversals. Small moments where you do the opposite of what your old self would do. Examples. Old loop. Avoid a difficult conversation. New reversal. Send one honest message. Old loop. Escape with distraction. New reversal. Sit with discomfort for 2 minutes. Old loop. Quit when frustrated. New reversal. Do one more rep, one more task, 1 more minute. Old loop. Procrastinate until panic. New reversal. Start for 3 minutes, even if it feels terrible. Old loop. Seek validation. New reversal. Make a decision alone. These micro-reversals do 2 things. 1, they interrupt the old program. The insanity loop loses its predictable pattern. 2, they install a new identity. Every small reversal says to your subconscious, "We don't operate like that anymore." This is how confidence is built. This is how discipline is built. This is how momentum is built. Not through dramatic breakthroughs, but through small, relentless identity proofs. Chapter 11. The Environment of Sanity. You cannot change your life while living in the same environment that created the insanity. Your environment is not background. It is programming. Your surroundings trigger your patterns, reinforce your habits, remind you of who you used to be, activate old emotional responses, shape your energy, influence your decisions. If you want to stop repeating insanity, your environment must change in one of 2 ways. 1, remove what weakens you. People, places, digital noise. Situations, routines, triggers, clutter, chaotic spaces, old identity artifacts. Anything that pulls you back must lose access to you. 2, add what strengthens you. Books that shift your beliefs, clean spaces, silent structure, high-performance influences, people who live at a higher standard. Daily accountability, visual reminders of the person you're becoming. Environment is everything. Trying to create a new identity in an old environment is impossible. It's like planting a seed in poisoned soil and wondering why it doesn't grow. Chapter 12. The Belief. Reset. The commands that rewire your subconscious. Your subconscious programming is rewritten through commands, not wishes. The old identity has strong internal statements. This is just who I am. I always mess things up. I can't handle pressure. I'm not disciplined. I don't deserve more. I'll never change. These are not thoughts, they are loops. To break them, you install new commands. I am a person who follows through. I move toward the things I used to avoid. I tolerate discomfort without backing down. I create new patterns every day. I am rewriting my entire operating system. I don't repeat, I evolve. I don't collapse, I adapt. I don't run, I face. I don't quit, I rewire. Say them with emotion. Say them with aggression. Say them until your subconscious believes you. Because your subconscious doesn't respond to truth. It responds to repetition. Repetition is how insanity forms. Repetition is also how sanity is restored. Chapter 13. The 30-Day Reset Challenge. You want to stop repeating insanity? You need a plan. Here is your 30-day reset, a blueprint to permanently break your cycles. Daily requirements. 1. One pattern. Interrupt. Catch one moment where you usually repeat. Choose the opposite response. 2. One micro-reversal. Do one small action your old identity would avoid. 3. One environment shift. Clean, remove, or change. One environmental trigger daily. 4. One command repetition. Say your identity statement out loud with emotion. 5. 2 minutes of discomfort tolerance. Sit with an uncomfortable feeling without escaping, numbing, or distracting. This builds emotional strength faster than anything else. Chapter 14. The moment your life changes. There is a day, sometimes the 8th day, sometimes the 30th, sometimes the 100th, when the insanity loop tries to activate, but you don't respond. You feel the urge, you feel the emotion, you feel the familiar pull, but you don't move toward the old reaction. You pause, you breathe, you choose differently without thinking. That moment is your rebirth, because it proves one thing. Your mind is no longer controlled by your past patterns. You have become someone new. New identity, new wiring, new reactions, new momentum, new standards, new future. You did not break the insanity loop. You outgrew it. Chapter 15. The new you. The person who doesn't repeat. The new you doesn't wait for feelings. The new you doesn't follow old triggers. The new you doesn't collapse under discomfort. The new you understands. Change is repetition. Discipline is identity. Transformation is choice. Momentum is sacred. Standards define destiny. Environment dictates identity. Reprogramming requires action. You are not the person who repeats. You are the person who rewrites. You are not the person who collapses. You are the person who adapts. You are not the person who hopes. You are the person who executes. This is the real shift. You no longer wait for life to change. You change yourself, and life adapts to your new identity. Final command: the insanity stops now. Repeat this with intensity. I do not repeat the patterns that once trapped me. I am not ruled by habit, fear, or emotional memory. I interrupt. I choose. I rewire. I am not the old version of myself. I live intentionally, not automatically. I am done with insanity. I am done with cycles that insult my potential. I am done living on old programming. I create new loops. I create new results. I create a new life. My identity is evolving. My mind is updating. My future is mine. The insanity ends now. This is the new script. This is the new you. This is the moment your life splits into before and after. You are not repeating your story. You are rewriting it.